Final Fantasy XI has been a part of my life for almost a full 15 years of its existence, and the announcement that the Rhapsodies of Vana'diel missions would be released last year, ultimately concluding the 11 narrative, left me with conflicting emotions. The missions had a difficult trial ahead of them, somehow tying together all of the expansions, original conflicts, and beloved characters from over the years into a single compelling storyline, and then somehow drive that to a satisfactory finale. But honestly, I think they nailed it. So hey guys, it's Hun4Games, and anyone who's been on Odin the past week or so has probably spied me running back and forth across Vana'diel in an attempt to complete Rhapsodies during the Thanksgiving break. Honestly, this is sort of my go-to holiday thing. Multiple days in a row of possible free time and late nights, let's hammer out those missions I haven't done yet. Doing a video on Rhapsodies for me is tough though, as it's an ending for a game that in my mind has no end. While I may have bested the latest in a string of threats to Vana'diel, I'll always have more places to go, more levels to gain, more strength to acquire. I say all this to explain that certain aspects of these quests hit me a little bit harder than they probably should have, because in the context of Final Fantasy XI, it just made no sense. Now, as a warning, I tried to write this video a million times without giving away elements to the story, and I just can't do it. The way it was told and the themes it touches on are basically the whole thing. So, warning, I will be going into some detail about the events of the Rhapsodies missions. If you plan on doing them yourselves eventually, you might want to add this to a watch later list or something and come back to this once you're done. So as a little background for anyone who's wholly unfamiliar, Rhapsody of Vana'diel flows around the character of Aroha, who somehow come from a future timeline in which you were her master. There, a great emptiness consumed Vana'diel bit by bit and could not be stopped, until only a small portion in Ryzen remained. Early on, we only know that we had a final stand and failed, and we're already starting to see the signs of the corruption in our time as well. The plot drives us through all the major storylines of Final Fantasy XI, as we draw power from the connections we've built along the way. This both serves as a way to involve characters long sidelined in our struggles, and compel you to finish some of those storylines as well if you hadn't until now. This complex timing weaves in perfectly with Aroha's struggle, as she's frustrated that you haven't yet completed some of your greatest accomplishments, and met friends that will be crucial in your final struggle. This, of course, is all being thwarted by a mysterious figure in a dark mask that wishes to stop you for unknown reasons. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't fun to watch all my favorite characters react in their own ways to the new threat, especially considering they almost all thought they'd saved the world from certain destruction before. And Aroha's own interactions with characters that she knows from her own timeline, mainly Tenzin, is a lot of fun in that time travel mischief sort of way. But where it gets really interesting, and seriously, final spoiler warning here, is in the reveal that the mysterious figure attempting to stop you is in fact you from the future, just in another form. So how do you become what you will be? I mean, it turns out that part of the power you're building is to actually allow you to achieve Godhood, so that you could fight the coming emptiness. In your original attempt from Aroha's time, however, this causes you to split into a being of pure light that fought off the threat, and a collection of all your internal darkness, which I have to assume was years of dying in the dunes, festering into pure conscious rage. The Godhood Churro was unable to remain in the mortal realm, and was thrust into whatever realm gods get thrust to. The evil Churro, however, was still here and attacked, continuing the threat of the emptiness. I don't think I can fully express how cool some of these cutscenes were, with the God Churro surrounded by everyone from Star Sybil to Matt fighting the cloud of darkness off. Definitely one of my all-time favorites, and one of the more badass moments in my memories of Vana'diel. The rest of the missions play out in an attempt to change the fate of this ascension attempt, leading to some of the coolest battles in the game, including essentially a Dark Shinryu, Dark Promethea, and then ultimately the darkness itself manifests. The cutscenes themselves, especially the present-day version of the battle against the emptiness, are just fantastic, and the detail in the combat is unreal. You forget at times that this game is just 15 years old, with characters throwing each other in combo moves against a threat, tossing daggers to allies mid-stride. It was just so cool. I haven't seen an MMO attempt a cutscene like this in-game in a while. The final battle could not have been staged any cooler either, in this arena surrounded by still images of memories of Vana'diel. Fighting the last ultimate threat to Vana'diel amongst screenshots of some of my favorite characters, locations, and moments of Final Fantasy XI was just surreal. To add to the intensity, it was freaking hard. I mean, we got totally wrecked the first time around, and basically the second as well. Within the first 25% health, I had died, and only Apuru, our healing trust, remained, with Hayden as the Red Mage Ninja, still somehow keeping it going. While I'd initially given it up as another wipe, Hayden kept going and I managed to do a mid-fight switch to an automaton tank setup and got Pamama back in the fray, who continued to barely hold it together over the tense remaining 15 minutes in the multiple resummons, HP swaps, and repairs, just managing to keep him afloat. It was one of those fights that I'll talk about for years, where all of your initial plans go to shit and you have to drastically change your approach mid-fight to even have a chance at victory. It was an amazing moment, and one that reminded me of what was so incredible about Final Fantasy XI in the first place. With trust and frankly ridiculous 119 power these days, it can be easy to forget how flexible the game can truly be. You fill the gaps and roles with a Koromoro or a Gesho tank, but some of the magic was in those moments where all you had was a Dragoon, Red Mage, and Pup, and you just had to try and make it work. You get your Dragoon to sub Mage, Red Mage sub Ninja, and your Pup just tries to stay out of the way, but somehow you manage to succeed in those fights that those are the only few jobs that you had available at the time, and you just had to try. Of course, after all of this, you're congratulated by Aroha in a touching goodbye scene where she thanks you specifically for your last 14 years of service to Vana'diel. While technically aimed at my character, I couldn't help but get a little choked up at the thought of being, thanked for my many years in this game. Then something I would have never expected in Final Fantasy XI came next. Credits. Credits roll next to scenes of Ryzen Jima, which was just so bizarre, and they completed it with a thank you to Jiraiya, our savior of Vana'diel, as like a line in the credits. It's so emotional. It just drives home that this game that I've played and loved for so many years has at least in one way come to a close, and it couldn't have existed without us, the players. I thought the final missions and scenes were a great tribute to that and an emotional goodbye to such an incredible game. Of course, following that, it does say a quick little welcome back to Vana'diel, and you're shown a quick cutscene of Jiraiya re-entering the world as we know it. While emotional, I also thought it was a little bit of a cheeky thing from Square Enix being like, don't worry, keep playing, it's not over. But tell me what you thought of Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. Did you like that it wove all the previous storylines together, or would you have rather that it had been entirely set apart? I for one still have some work to do in Wings of the Goddess and Adeline to get a complete picture of how Vana'diel shapes up, but I'm really excited to see them through to the end. Hope to see you guys all in game. Thanks so much for sticking around, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you should totally think about subscribing. I've got videos coming out twice a week, and if you like this one, there's at least a chance you'll like some of the others that are very similar to this, so live dangerously. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comments and other videos you'd like to see. And finally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Huntin for Games to keep up with all the latest stuff. See ya.